extreme sandstorm. Oh my god. Okay, so here I cannot continue my jogging and exercise. Oh my gosh, in the field. I'll go back. You know, you can see my hair is wet because, you know, somewhere along the way there's a very extreme sandstorm with a mixture of rain, something like that. And now I'm already safe. Okay, so since that's gonna be the case, I'll be doing back my vlogging, right? So anyway, I still have so many times for exercise. Okay, so let's solve another problem. But this time, guys, it's gonna be a projectile. Okay, projectile meaning there's a curvature when you throw the ball. It takes a flight, a time to flight from point A to point B, and it will establish a curvature, a curve upside, something like that. Okay. So just like a trajectory. Okay, so I know right now the problem. Okay, an object. Oh my gosh, where's my eraser? Okay, welcome back to my YT channel. This is again I'm a singer, eternal voice, physics, elementary physics. Okay, so I write the problem. An object. What's this? An object. It's gonna be enjoyable because, you know, I'll teach you technique to solve an issue. Okay, is launch. Okay, like that. Okay, at a velocity. Okay, of 40 meters per second. Okay, like that. And then in a direction, so in a direction, oh my god, right? In a direction, what's this? Making angle of 50 degrees upward with a horizontal. Wow. Okay, upward with a horizontal. Okay. So in physics, guys, if you are really good at math, you can easily solve. It's not the same as chemistry because, you know, chemistry is involved always chemical formulas, chemical reactions. Even though you are good at math, but if you are weak in, you know, memorization regarding the elements, compounds, then problem. But in physics, not so much, right? See, like this, it's only numbers, objects. So a little bit, you know, quicker to understand. Okay? For me, it's not that really complicated compared to general chemistry. Okay? Because there's no such molecule, something like that. Okay? So it's easy to visualize in real life scenario rather than chemistry more on the atoms or the chemicals in which we don't see really the interaction. And then we still need a microscopic technology to see that in the lab. Whereas this physics, it's very obvious, right? Okay, in the actual scenario or in real life. Okay, so with the horizontal like this. Okay, so it's gonna be stopping now. Oh my god, the rain is stopped. The rain is stopped. Yes, the rain is stopped. And look at the window. Oh my god. I'm already inside the room. I can go back to the field to do the exercise. Oh my gosh. Okay. Number one question. What is the maximum height? Okay, what is the maximum height? Okay, mga talaga akong hitat. Okay, reached by the object. Okay, height reached by the object. Okay, like this. Okay, this is question number one. Question number two, it's gonna be the total time of flight. Okay, total time of flight. It's gonna be, guys, the time starting when you throw the ball, for example, and then and the time also when the ball landed on the other point after you throw that ball, something like that is a total time of flight. Okay, so it's gonna be like that. Okay, total time of flight. Because the stone or a ball will take a flight, right? It's not only limited to airplane or helicopter, but you will say the terminology flight. Okay, so it can be applicable to any object. And in the dictionary, it takes flight means it's going upward and then go down, upward, go down. So there's distance covered with corresponding velocity. Okay, now total time of flight. Okay, number 3. Okay, okay, we have the range. Okay, the range is, it looks like not really that precise to consider because the range, very broad, right? We say range, oh, so tell me what is your vocal range? Okay, I can hit G sharp 6 using my falsetto voice with a mixture of head tone and head voice. That's my vocal range when I sing. Okay, so I'll do a bit of vocal technique with a mixture of natural voice, the head voice, the head tone, and the falsetto. I mix that all, especially if the song is very, very high. Okay, so it's gonna be like that. So that's the range of your voice. Here also there's a range, but this range is all about the distance covered from point A to point B, the total distance covered during your projectile motion. Wow, ganon. Okay, range, horizontal range kasi siya ang sinasabi dito guys ha. It's not the vertical range. Horizontal range, okay, maximum, okay, like, so there's a technique for this so that you can easily solve the question properly, okay, like that, above the ground, okay, above the ground, or we deeper in the ground, okay, get the point, and then of the object, okay. So, please forgive me because we are trained to speak this way when we are in high school. Okay, our teacher is very strict in, diction and pronunciation. Okay, when I was in first year, we are competing to other places for the speech choir competition. And I'm one of those, participants. We are in a group, but we try to compete to other schools, and he is our trainer. That's why he trained us how to, enunciate words, the sound of TH, like that. So we always emphasize that when we talked, and I carry that over in my real life. When I talk, I always emphasize the sound, the intonation of as well, okay, of the object, okay, like that, okay. So, what's next? Oh, there are 3 questions only in this particular problem. Okay, any questions so far? So you may write also this problem in your blank sheet of paper and you can solve this by yourself also. And let's compare our answers. Then try also to listen to me while I'm discussing them. It's also good. Okay? Since I have only a limited space in my whiteboard. Okay, so I have to erase something. Maybe you'll get confused. Okay, so an object is launched. Okay, launched. Oh my gosh, is meaning prepared. Okay, this launch is really a deep term. Okay, a velocity of 40 meters per second in a direction, making angle of 50 degrees. Okay, upward with the horizontal. Guys, you should remember that the projectile problem always have a minimum data. Minimum, say for example, 40 meters per second and 50 degrees, and bingo, you can solve for everything. Okay, and you can also look at the style, the way it was presented. See, it's always like that. Okay, with an angle of, with a velocity of, like that. And the example for this, a soccer ball, a football, a basketball, like that. So anything that it will deliver a velocity that it will go up and then go down and it will form a curve, trajectory, something like that, or projectile. Okay, so
things like this. Normally, this will go up in the board examination. Okay? 100% sure. This kind of problem. You get the point? Because I remember it flashed back into my brain cells to take. Really have. Okay? So, number one, what is the maximum height reached by the object? So, let's sketch first. Okay? So, I will sketch this in a minimum dimension. Okay? Because I have limited space only. So, if for example, if this is June, hold the ball here, okay? And I'll try to prepare me and launched the ball, and then I'll throw that in this way, going to the other point. Let's say point A and point B, ganon. And then it's gonna be here, point C at the center, for example, okay? Now, angle, so upward, right? Up. I make up the ball before I throw. So we need to say this is for 50 degrees, like that. Okay? It with a horizontal. Okay, what is the maximum height? So we need to say the height here established. Maximum at the center. Normally at the center it will reach the height. In this kind of problem, projectile, trajectory, it's on the center that the ball or anything or object, when you throw that, will achieve the maximum height. Okay? So it's in the center. So now, as I discussed a while ago, yesterday, so let's put this capital H here. And then the range ng mga palangga unitat, meaning the total distance covered initially with a ball to the last point, from point A to point B is going to be the range. So basically this is the horizontal distance if you try to label this generally. But the technical term only in projectile topic is range. Okay? Like that. Okay. Now we have the H, we have the R, we'll try to find out that one. Okay. What is the total time of flight? So we need to compute the time here from point A to point B. And the time also, it covers from point C to point B, like that, okay? And then you have to add up 2 because it is total time covered. Total time of flight is just equal here, TAB plus TCB, ganon. Then we don't have yet the value, right? So how can we do that? So we need to think of formulas that is appropriate to this. Going back to kinematic linear motion. Okay, oh my gosh, there's a lot of Sotero. So upon correlating and linking those 4 equations, for example, I will state directly now in my mouth. I cannot put because there's only limited space. So first, let's say distance is equals to initial velocity times the time plus 1/2 times the acceleration due to gravity, okay, times time raised to the power 2. That is in terms of a distance, and we can equate that to the h here. Okay, because the velocity here is going upward. Okay, what else? We will say final velocity squared is equals to the initial velocity squared, like that, plus twice the acceleration due to gravity times the distance. Equation number 2, right? Equation number 3, okay. V final, velocity final is equal to initial velocity plus the acceleration times time, or something like that. Okay, equation number 4, so we're gonna say also distance is equal to 1/2 times the final velocity plus initial velocity times the time. Okay. And number 5, we will say also instantaneous velocity is equal to the final distance minus the initial distance, or final point minus the initial point, divided by the distance. Something like that, okay? Initial velocity. Now, it's not the distance, it's the time. Because instantaneous velocity have the time. O, diba? So we can easily correct. Okay? So meaning displacement over the time. Sorry for that. Okay? And then the average velocity. Okay, the average velocity is equal to the V is equals to, or total V is equal to Vf plus initial velocity. V is the final velocity plus initial velocity VO divided by 2, like that. Okay? And the range also is equal to the total velocity covered times the time. And the time there is the total time of flight. Here. Okay, and the velocity there is the horizontal. Okay, velocity covered, the Vx. Okay, not the Vy, something like that. You get the point? So because we have velocity component here. Okay, so I will illustrate here. So initially we have the Vx component and Vy component. Okay, like that. So we can establish the law of right triangle. Now guys, okay, before going to 1, 2, 3, I will also introduce another formula which is equal to final velocity now is equals to the component Vx squared plus Vy squared. So for example, if the problem will say, calculate the velocity before it hit the ground. So this is the technique. You will use this formula. V is equals to square root Vx squared plus Vy squared. This is exclusive only to that statement. Again, memorize. Okay. What is the final velocity before it hit the ground? So this kind of formula is exclusive only for this. Okay? Don't think for another equation. Because there are a lot of phrasing of the question that will say, what is the final velocity when the ball hit the ground? But this is another. This is, what is the final velocity before the ball hit the ground? So your key term there is before. Meaning, you try to compute the velocity before it hit the ground. But the other one is another thing, using the other. But this is exclusive only. Okay? So, klaro na kayo ha. So, if the question in the future will say like this, and there's an angle, okay, like that, then bingo, you can solve it perfectly. So, V is equals to Vx squared plus Vy squared. Vx is the velocity at the x component, and Vy is the velocity at y component. And you will notice that also the way the sentence is being phrased. Like that. So an initial velocity, horizontal, so that is Vx. You can read and you can understand well the problem also. I'm trying to teach you only the specific equation for that so that you can save time. Because there's a lot of formula to be used. Okay? Things like that. Exclusive for the velocity or final velocity before it hit the ground. Ay, huwag kapintal sa laing mga velocity nga equation mo. Hindi siya pwede. Okay, velocity is equals to the square root of the velocity in the x component raised to the power 2 plus the velocity in the y component raised to the power 2. And the technique here, usually there's something zero here. Usually the zero there is always the initial. Okay? But if it is mentioned there, don't force to be zero, but usually lang talaga siya. Because usually naman talaga, if you try to throw the ball, you are starting with potential energy. Okay? You will hold that first. There's no, right? There's no velocity yet in your hand. You get the point? Don't tell me the ball will just jump easily, will never hold. So that's why normally, the Vy will always be zero. Okay? In this formula. Okay? But just also analyze the problem. Maybe it will be modified, but based on my experience in solving a lot of problems like this in my college education, okay, until in the board examination, always like that, guys. I tell you honestly and frankly for that, okay? And now, we will solve now for what is the maximum height reached by the object. So this, guys, this kind of problem projectile, you don't need to go back to the derivation. You need to troubleshoot the exact formula when it applies. So again, it will also matter the memorization. You know, memorization. If you forgot, then you can derive, but that's look awkward if things like that, because normally you'll go back so many things to do if you try to derive. That's why you end up to memorize exactly what is the formula as long as you understand. You get the point? So that you can also waste your time in getting another equation also, especially projectile. Okay, bear this in your mind. Projectile, always specific the quantity to be asked like this. What is the maximum height reached by the object? So we'll use, this is our solution, like that, chuba chu is equals to height is equals to like that velocity squared, then gano'n, di ba? Sine 2 theta over the, so what's the denominator? Acceleration due to gravity. So hindi siya, guys, hindi ipasok sa inyong brain cells. If the problem is a projectile, there's no other equivalent formula specific also. the same here, I told you first, right? So, height. So, ayun ang pag-drive-drive, mausik mong oras. You get the point? So, memorization, adequate memorization. Okay, so substitute value. So, V is equals to 40. 40 we say the power 2. And then sine 2. Theta is the angle of inclination. It's always given because it is a projectile. Take note. Projectile problem is always angle. If there's no angle, that's not a projectile. Okay, let's agree. Okay, so 50 degrees. Okay, like if there's no angle, then that's very easy to solve. Right? Rather than have angles. Okay, so acceleration due to gravity is 9.81. Okay, like that. So your answer now for height is maximum height reach, ha? Always also take with the adjective. Maximum height. Okay? Remember, the question says always maximum height. So you will use this one. If that is not maximum, something wrong. You can still use another equation of the 6 I mentioned a while ago. But if there's an adjective maximum before the height, so reach, achieve, attain, obtain, like accomplish, like that. So sometimes it will be better. What is the maximum height achieve? What is the maximum height obtain? What is the maximum height produce? What is the maximum height establish? What was the maximum height? The reach here can be changed to another term in English. As long as you can determine the maximum height, this term. Okay? This maximum is the K term. To use this, H. Okay? By the object. Sometimes I say, what is the height reached by the object? Kana siya nalisunod pa na siya because that is not maximum. So never use this one. Okay, use the other thing, chupa-chupa. There's a lot there that I mentioned in the 6. So try to substitute, whatever, analyze, and then if it is in the choices, then maybe that's correct, like that. Okay, but here, what I'm trying to emphasize is specific. If the question is always like this, maximum height reach, maximum height attain, maximum height obtain, maximum height establish, maximum height produce, maximum height what else? So many. Okay, but the most common is reached. Okay, you get the point. So, mo yung gamitin ng formula. Okay, ito na siya ha guys. Especially mga chemical engineering, board exam next month na, our board examination. Okay, so I believe that also to be one of your tutors. Charot! Tutors talaga. Okay, so ano siya, for free. Okay, mag-review ito for free. Mga palangka ng chemical engineers. Okay, 50 sine 50 degrees is equal to 0.766. Okay, it's gonna be like that. And then, so in this case, basically, sine 2 theta. Meaning to say you have to multiply that 50 directly to 2 before doing the sine. Okay, in your scientific calculator. You get the point? Something like that. So 2 times 50 is equals to 100. Sine 100 is equals to 0.98. Okay? Then times 1600 is equals to, okay, divided by 9.81 mga palangga. Okay, this is 160.62. This is the height. Okay, this is the formula of your height. Okay, you get the point. So there's the other, also the range. This is the number 3. Range is equal to V squared sine 2 theta over G. Okay, like that. You get the point mga palangga mitad. So this is gonna be the other one will be 2G. Okay, like that. In your memorization, be careful also. Okay? Usually guys, when I was in college, I normally have the reverse memorization. Okay? For example, I memorize this word height, and then but then I will use the range. Really, because of too much terminologies in my brain cells, too much formulas, equations, sometimes it can be reversed without my consciousness. Like this. Okay, that is also my usual error. Okay, aside from the solving problem too fast. Okay, very quick. Okay, so I normally get error for that, and I fail to, sometimes I fail to write clearly in the, in the solution sheet. But I know really the formulas, but sometimes due to that normal errors. Okay, you get the point? Normally, it's gonna, and then that's my always mistake, especially the problem, formulas and equations. Sometimes mabaligid siya, guys. Okay? Okay? But sometimes I can correct easily things like this, right? But due to the, you are already, what you call this one, you are under pressure. Sometimes you will never get exactly because you are pressured by the time, by the people around you, that they are expecting you to pass, something like that, because you are academically achiever individual, something like that, from grade 1 to college. You are consistent honor student and you have to prove to them, not only that prove, it should echo and radiate your accomplishment after the board examination, something like that. So things like this also can matter a lot. Okay, not only that, how prepared you are, something like that, and the normal errors, things like this. Okay, during memorization. Okay, that's why you need to do it again and again if it is the correct really the formula you use. Okay, you get the point like that. Okay, height. Go back to the height. Okay, velocity is 40 squared sine squared theta is 50 degrees. Mga palangka kung hikad 2 times 9.81. So it's gonna be like that. Okay. Okay. Guys, ayan ang gamitin mo nga, sine squared theta. Meaning to say, you need to substitute first the angle, then sine that first, and then after that raise that to the power of 2. Okay? Things like, for example, I have sine, okay, sine 50, mga palangga kung hitad, and then squared din siya ngayon, anak-anak, chuba-chuchu. Then times 1600. Ganon. So 938.91 divided by something. So 93, what's that siya guys mo? So 938.92. Oh, 938.92, mga palangga kung hitad. So 9.81 times 2. Okay, 9.81 times 2 is equal to 19.62, right? And then finally, is equals to, finally, okay, 938.92 divided by 19.62, so it's gonna be 47.9 meters is your height. Okay, 47.9 meters is your height. So put that here. O, label, the height is 47.9 meters. O, diba? Now you answer question number 1, which is 47.9 meters. The maximum height reached by the object that is launched at 40 meters per second with an angle of 50 degrees. Now, total time of flight. Okay. So, before, I already have the technology, but I'm getting confused and I confirm that later. Okay? Because normally, guys, I have to tell you the truth. This is the normal mistakes I have in physics. Okay, before, when I studied my physics last 20 years ago, when I was young. When I was young. Okay, so, guys, before, I'm not really that sure, before, I try to analyze that this total time is just the t. Before, t only. But actually, that is times 2 pa talaga siya. Okay? Because that is from point A to B and point B to C. If you obtain the t directly in your formula by using the kinematic motion, like that, projectile motion, that's still wrong because you have to multiply that by 2. Okay? Just lately, I discovered that's gonna be like that pala siya. Okay? Imagine, so many things I did not know. Okay, you get the point. So that could mean knowledge is a continuous learning process and it will never stop until your last breath. Okay, something like that. Imagine there are still so many things I didn't know about this physics. Okay, mga palangga. Okay, time. So actually, guys, if you try to do right, I need to share to you because last day off. I keep on thinking, why this kind of formula? Where does it come from? Okay, I just memorized. And then I need to know where did this come from, like that. And then I try to think over and over again, like that, okay? Because I don't want to look back for the references, because for me, again, I said a while ago that it's not a challenge for me to look for the references, how to derive it. So I'm not fulfilled if I can't do it by myself. That's me. That's my culture really. When I was in high school, when I was in college, I really solve by myself first before I do the problem and look at it. When are the things I am wrong? Okay? Because we as a students have different techniques. Okay? Most of the students will read how it is being solved, and then they will understand. But me, I will try to solve that first before I look and read the solution. Things like that. So that I can learn, it's gonna be like that. So it's correct. And I have to twist a little bit so that it will be right, like that. This is the area I am wrong. So it became a culture from first year college to fifth year college, in the 5 years of chemical engineering. But I tell you guys, it will help you a lot. Really, especially in deriving formulas in which your instructors never taught you. You can create your own equations and formulas if you really understand what you are doing, because you connect all the basic formulas, designs, and math. Something like that. And it's very challenging, really. Okay? I'll tell you. You'll enjoy a lot in math and science, right? And it is a fact. Math and science are the only subjects that are subject to fact. It's not opinion, it's not philosophy, it's not interpretations. All of us will agree because it has the same answer. This makes math and science unique because it is not through our opinion, it is not through our views, it is not through our interpretations and our own understanding to the matter or to the subject. It is not a philosophy or an insult or whatever that I'm correct, you are wrong, I'm correct. Just like politics, you will never agree in some points. Just like religion, you will never agree in some points. Just like also social studies, you will never agree in some points because the discovery is not the same as the other, because you are not there when the discovery sprouted and evolved at the time. So you are not born at that time. For example, Isaac Newton discovered the theory of like this. We don't know really the exact century or the date it was being discovered. So there's still an argumentation. But in science, in formulas and science like that, math, it's fact. Okay? All of us will agree. Get the point? Okay. It's gonna be like that. Okay, so this is the uniqueness of math and science, because this is a fact, a reality exists around us. Okay, go back to the time computation. Ganon. Okay, so if I will try to use the equation of time that I memorized, I will say T is equals to V sine theta. Ganon, over the acceleration due to the gravity. So this is the time. But take note, guys, this is only the time from the first half. And so in the second half, you'll say times 2. Ganon. So you'll use this formula from TAB. Okay, check. And we'll use this formula also in TCB, and then add that 2. And that is your total time by flight. Or you can also say T times 2. Okay, it's just the same in math. Okay, you get the point. For example, x plus x, 2x. Okay, you get the point. Okay, so let's say TAB, mga palangga komunidad. So the V we will consider her is the 40. Okay, millimeter per second. Okay, because it is the initial. You get the point, mga palangga komunidad. Okay, meaning to say this is the upward. Okay, 40 meter per second. This is Vy supposedly. Vy, okay, like a chuba-chuchu. Okay, so this is in the component here. Okay, this is it, hypotenuse V. Vx is the adjacent, no base. Okay, yeah, adjacent. And then Vy is your opposite. Okay, like that. You get the point? Adjacent is really close to the horizontal, something like that. Okay, you get the point. So it's gonna be, this is your Vy based on the Pythagorean theorem, right? You will say because this is Vx, this is sine, right? So you will say Vy here, Vx horizontal, Vy vertical. Okay? Again, over and over again. Y is always the vertical. X is always the standard in math, in science, sa buong mundo. Okay? Like that. All over the world, X is always in the horizontal and Y also vertical. Something like that. So you'll say here, mga panalakamitan, so it's gonna be sine theta, ganon. Carry the 50 degrees. Sine of 50 degrees is equal to the opposite side, which is the Vy over the hypotenuse V. The hypotenuse V, this is the velocity where it covers. Okay, then you will say, compute for the Vy, velocity by component. It's gonna be Vy is equal to V sine of 50 degrees. So that's why this is our numerator here in our equation of time. Right? T is equal to V sine theta over G. Ganon. So at least we know where this came from. Okay, now velocity for T, okay, sine of 50 degrees, acceleration due to gravity is 9.81. Okay? Always acceleration due to gravity, because this is projectile, curvature, or whatever. This is not straight linear motion only, just like the car moving to a city or whatever. It will never fly. The car will not fly. So how can it achieve a trajectory motion or projectile? Okay. If it is an airplane, it's possible. Airplane, it will go up like this, and ganon. But car and bus, it's only in linear motion. So this is not applicable in that kind of problem. Okay? You get the point? Ganon. Okay, so sine 50 is equals to times 40 mga palangga umutad. Okay, divided by 9.81 mga palangga. So 3.12. Oh, nakakaloka. So 3.12 seconds. Now, this is the first component from TA to B. So times 2 pa siya mga palangga. So this will be our total time of flight. Or 3.12 plus 3.12 or 3.12 times 2 is just equal. Okay. So times 2. Okay, 6.24 seconds mga palangga. Okay. So it takes 6.24 seconds for the ball with a velocity 40 meters per second from the horizontal to reach to another point at an angle of 50 degrees. Okay, with answer number 2. To total flight. Number 3, range. How can we compute for the range? So your identification during your memorization of the formula, assuming that you know how to derive already, okay, because it's not practical to derive every time. The best is to memorize. Okay, like that. Okay, but the point there, you should know how to derive in case of emergency. Just like a typhoon, in case of emergency, you will prepare something. In math, it's just like also like that. You're also, in case of, you forgot the formula, then you know how to derive. You get the point, hindi ka munganga. Sige ka memorize, hindi ka ma-derive. Okay, something like that. You get the point, kung palang ka kumita, it's gonna be like that, no? Okay, range. Range is equal to, okay, velocity squared is a vertical component, velocity raised to the power 2, ganon. Times sine 2 theta over G. I memorize this also. Okay, but if we try to derive this, we can do this, but it will take a longer time because we need to correlate the another equations out of the 6 equations I presented to you a while ago. Okay, and then forgive me if my board is just very small. I cannot expand further my discussion, right? Okay. So, like this. Velocity is 40. You can verify your own, guys, because I mentioned already, I write already the formulas, then try to do by yourself. The technique in establishing a strong foundation of derivation technique, guys, is the ability to analyze very well in different kinds of problems that you never encountered in your classroom instruction in their sample problems. Okay, because normally when we are in our first year college, it ends up depending only to the way how they are solving the problem. Depending on it, how they are doing the solution in that manner, and we need to pattern in that way. So that is not the case because it will be changing. There's a millions of problem solvings all over the world with pertains to that particular topic, and then it will not apply anymore. So how can you know the best solution for that? That's why you need to be independent, as I told you over and over again, right? If you try, if there's time to solve 1,000 problems in a day, then do it, right? If there's time, or 2,000 problems in a day, 3,000 problems in a day, like especially if you target to become a top-notcher in the board examination, then you can do as much as you could, right? As long as you love it. Love. Because anything that you love, you enjoy, then you can do it. Okay? It's not forcing yourself to do that. Okay? Because if you try to force and there's no love, passion, commitment, and things you are doing, so you will sometimes fail. Okay? Get the point? Okay. So, velocity, 40 raised to the power 2 sine 2 theta. We have the 50 degrees and the acceleration due to gravity. Wow. Okay, 9.81. Okay? Like that. Calculator, please. Okay. So, 2 times 50 mga palangga. Okay, 1 sine 150 na siya talaga, no? Okay, go. Okay, 150, okay, sine 150 is equal to exponential to the 2, right? Okay. Okay, so 2 times 50, okay, 100, okay, sine 100 is equals to, okay, times 1600 mga palangga-kunitan divided by 9.81. Okay, we have 160.6 meters. Distance from point A to point B, mga palangga-kunitan, is 160.62 meters. Ganon. Okay? This is the answer for your letter C here. Okay, range. Okay. Now, there's another solution for this also. Okay, you can still also get another R. For example, you'll say, range is equals to the horizontal Vx times the time. Because R is simply the distance, right? In the formula of velocity is equals to distance over time. You will just replace V with R, and the first letter of range is R. That's why R is equals to Vx times time. Now try to do it, okay? Not using the velocity at y component, this time use the velocity at x component if it will agree or the same answer. Let's just prove the fact. In fact, the fact. Nakakaloka. Okay, so we will prove, huh? Okay, so Vx component, this is cosine based on this. It is gonna be chu is the, okay, we're gonna be V, okay, cosine. Okay, cosine theta. Okay? Like that. Cosine siya because this is Vx man siya. Okay? And then times the time. Take note, the time you will be able to substitute here is the total time of flight, which is 6.24. This is also the usual mistakes. Me also. Most of the times. Before, in college. Okay, but this is 2 times talaga siya ang total time of flight. Ha? Okay, so this is 6.24 na nakatandaan. So, substitute ko nga palang kapungita. Then range is equals to 40 and cosine of 45 ba siya? No, 50 degrees. Okay, times 6.24. Okay, ganon. So, try to solve it. It is equal to 160.62 also. Okay, then if it is the same, then perfect. Okay, like that. Okay, o mga palangga, cosine 50 is equals to times 40 is equals to times 6.24 is equals to 160.43. Very close. Okay, R is equals to 160.43 meters. Very close to 160.62 meters. A matter of point something lang talaga siya. Okay, it's already correct to consider. Okay, like that. So the same, right? So we solved already questions 1, 2, 3 for this particular problem. Any questions so far for this particular problem? Projectile. Okay? You get the point? Remember, only the projectile, it is a upward motion of the ball or object of anything, and it will establish degrees of inclination. Okay, your K term there will be the velocity, okay, the time, the displacement, the distance like that, the range, the height, and then this one, okay, maximum height. Always like this, to save your time. Memorize really the exact formula for the particular, phrasing of the question. Okay, like that. So if you like this video, you can comment down below in my comment section. You can share also to anybody else with regards to physics academic information. It can help us a little with you guys in facing different examinations in the future, or it would be in your classroom examination for physics subjects, elementary physics. Okay, and now I want you to subscribe my channel if you want also. I am a singer, eternal voice, then you have full freedom if you want, then I'm very happy if you are trying to subscribe my YouTube channel. And then you can click the notification bell for some news updates. So I am a singer, eternal voice, your YouTube content creator and your social media influencer in terms of science academic world. Bye-bye. God bless everybody. Kaloka.